What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 5, Episode 16, Fuller House. Let's get started with Mary and Brandon. So when we see Mary and Brandon, we find out that Brandon has already been in the Philippines for 6 whole months. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. So he's already been in the Philippines for 6 months. She is 5 months pregnant, and they are getting married in 2 weeks. And Mary tells us that Brandon is still inconsistent with the chores around the house, but I guess the arguing between them has lessened because she said that he doesn't yell and scream at her as much. So they're buying their outfits for their wedding, and Brandon is asking Mary, do you think we can afford this? And she's like, yeah, we can afford it because they've started selling cell phones. So, I mean, Brandon and Mary are always going to have like a hustle in the Philippines because at first it was the snack shop and now it's selling cell phones. So I don't know if they're doing both or if they stopped the snack shop and now they're just doing cell phones. I don't know. But they are, Mary's going to find a way to make money, it seems like. So then after that, we see them, they're out at night in this field and they are catching frogs, okay? And they're catching frogs for dinner. And Brandon tells us that the first time that he had frogs, it was delicious, but he didn't know that he was eating frogs. Mary had told him that he was eating baby chickens, but he said it was delicious. He kept on going back for seconds and thirds, and they're planning on tricking Brandon's mom because she does plan on coming to the Philippines for their wedding, and Brandon tells us that they're going to do the same thing to his mom. They're going to feed her the frogs and tell her that it's baby chickens. Now, if anybody did that to me, okay? If anybody did that to me, if I was eating something and you lied about what I was eating and told me that it was something that I normally would not eat, we're going to have a problem. We're going to have a major problem because I don't care how delicious something is. If I don't want to try it, I don't want to try it. One thing that I will never, ever, ever try is octopus. And if someone gives me octopus to eat and they're telling me that it's something else and I can't tell, and then I find out later that you've been feeding me octopus, we're gonna have a problem. Let me be the decision maker of what goes into my mouth and what I want to digest. Don't do those kind of games with me. So Brandon and his mom are not getting along, and they haven't been getting along because, they've been having issues for years because Brandon's mom is a recovering addict. She couldn't raise her children. I think Brandon was raised by his father, I think. So there's always been issues between him and his mom. And Mary and Brandon's mom, they just don't like each other. They actually probably borderline hate each other. Mary says that Brandon's mom tried to break them up several times and that, his mom is a real bitch to her. And let me just say this. Seeing how crazy their relationship was when they were not in the same country, when Brandon was still in the United States and she was in the Philippines, and now they had to have each other on FaceTime 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I was his mother, I would also try to encourage my son to break up with a girl like that, because that's just, to me, that's just bananas. That's berserk. It's weird. It's strange. It's dysfunctional to have to be on FaceTime with one another 24/7. So I don't really side eye Brandon's mom for wanting to break them up, because I think any parent would feel like this was, an unhealthy relationship. So Mary tells Brandon, when your mom gets here, you better have my back at all times. And Brandon's like, of course I'm going to have your back. So to me, I think Brandon is like mesmerized by Mary or something, because with all the stuff that they've been through, he is still there. He is still sticking it through. So I don't think that he's going to, I don't know if she's in fear that he's going to go back to America with his mom, or his mom is going to somehow influence him to come back home. But Mary doesn't have to worry about Brandon going back to the United States with his mother. So it's time for the mom's arrival. She shows up, and Mary is not happy about her mother-in-law or her future mother-in-law coming. Needless to say, the mom is not happy about them having a baby. The mother tells us that they had a baby, or they got pregnant way too soon, that they had a lot to work on with their relationship before bringing another life into it. So when Mary first sees the mother, coming down the road, her first reaction to Brandon was like, wow, she's so white. And, in all fairness, the mother also told Brandon, "You're so white, you're so pale. Like, you're out here in the Philippines, you're out in the sun. You would think that, you would have gotten a little bit of color." So when Brandon and his mom are embracing, Mary has this really sour look on her face, and her whole entire facial expression and her body language, because she was standing next to Brandon looking at this woman with her arms crossed. I mean, she just was like looking at this woman as if she wanted to just, field goal kicker back to America. She was just not having it at all. So Brandon's mom and Mary, they greet each other, they shake hands, and Brandon's like, hug, hug, hug. Brandon, what? You know that your girlfriend or your fiance hates your mom, and your mom was trying to break up you and your fiance, but you expect them to hug. So Mary tells us that the mom looks at her like, like she doesn't like her. She gives her this mean girl stare. But Mary, you are the one really doing it to her. I didn't see the mother looking at Mary with that stink face, like the one that Mary had when she looked at, her mother-in-law. I didn't see that. I know that the mother doesn't like Mary, doesn't want her son with Mary, but Mary was the one that was exuding like a lot of heat towards the mother. I mean, she was giving her the look of death. So I don't know what Mary is talking about. She was looking at me like, like she's a mean girl. You're the one that was looking at her like you just wanted to chop her head off or something. So the mom tells us that she refuses to walk on eggshells. She's going to say exactly what's on her mind. Mary's feelings be damned. She's not going to care what anybody says or how anybody feels. If she sees something that she doesn't like, she's going to voice her opinion. So this is going to be a very interesting visit. Moving on to Sarper and Shakina. So Shakina goes to see her sister because she wants Sarper and her sister to try again, because their first meeting went completely left, and it ended up like, the sister and Sarper did not like each other. The sister ends up storming out of their apartment. So she wants them to try again. So she kind of tells her sister that Sarper is willing to make amends. And she kind of also tells her sister, you do have to keep in mind, though, that you really came off kind of strong to Sarper. You were demanding to see his phone. You made it really clear that you were not feeling him or that you had trust issues with him. So you did come off a little bit strong. Sarper was also very rude to the sister. I just don't understand like where all the rudeness was. Is he on steroids? Like, he's got this, we have seen, a couple of outbursts from him that makes me kind of wonder if he's like got that roid rage, because he is just, I thought he also was a little bit too much towards the sister. Okay. The sister came there with an agenda. She made it very clear that I'm here to figure out if you're good enough for my sister, if you're worth my sister's time. And Sarper picked all of that up. He picked up all of that energy and he gave it right back to her. So they both were kind of at fault with how that first meeting went. So she kind of tells, okay, yeah. So then the second meeting with Shariah. They're having their second meeting with Shariah. This is Sarper's second time to make another first impression. So Sarper starts off very apologetic to Shariah about how he previously acted with her. Shariah says that she was just really concerned why he wasn't willing to make his relationship with Shakina public. Like, why are you trying to hide my sister? Why do you act like you're ashamed of her or something? Why don't you publicize y'all's relationship? And Shariah tells us that she still sees Sarper as being very immature and that he has a lot of growing up to do. So Sarper, to try to smooth things over, says that he is now ready to post their relationship online. He even goes as far as to ask Shariah, can you take a picture of us? And I promise to post it on my social media to let the world know that I am hers and she is mine. So we will see if that actually follows through. I'm an old head, y'all. So I grew up in a time where there was no social media. When I was I think America Online started when I was in college, and then Facebook started after college. So I didn't grow up with all of this social media stuff. So to me, I don't see the importance of having to post your relationship online. Now, maybe I guess because I have my social media, but I don't post anything. I don't go to it. It's very dormant. Every day I'm considering deleting all of it because I'm not active on it at all. So Maybe because I don't post a lot of pictures, I don't put my life on social media, I don't understand. But if you're someone who's constantly posting stuff online, like every little thing you do, every day or every other day, you got to post something, but you completely leave out anything related to your significant other, I guess I can kind of see why it's important to expose your relationship online, because it's like you're exposing everything else online. Why wouldn't you post a couple of pictures of your girlfriend? Maybe that's what it's all about. I don't know. So moving on from there, we have TJ and Kimberly. So we are still in this wedding, y'all. There are more ceremonies. One of the cutest ceremony that they did was when Kimberly's stepmother had to pinch TJ's nose. I thought that was really cute and adorable. So Kimberly was able to have her dad walk her down the aisle, because now we're at the part where they actually get married, I guess, but there's still a ton of ceremonies and rituals to do. But I guess as they're walking to the venue where they're going to actually get married, her father was able to walk her down the aisle along with about 10 to 15 other people, but her father was still able to walk her down the aisle and, walk right next to her. So 11 p.m., the rituals are still going on. They're still not officially married. They've exchanged garlands to show the public that they're married, but they won't be officially married until all of the rituals are completed. 2 a.m., y'all, they are still at it. 4 a.m. in the morning, they are now exchanging promises and they're finally married. This was, I'm pretty sure for her and her family, extremely exhausting, but it's finally done. And I think Kimberly even alluded to saying that, all of this was worth it, to get married to TJ. She loves her some TJ, y'all. She loves her some TJ. It was all worth it to be married to him and to be his wife. And it was a good educational or a good like a teaching moment for those of us who are not really familiar with Indian weddings. We got to see, how it really goes down. I don't remember what's her name? Jennifer, Jenny and Sumit. I don't remember their ceremony being this extensive, but I don't know. So moving on from there, we are with Kenny and Armando. I always forget to talk about Kenny and Armando in my reviews. This time I remembered. So, but not much happened, y'all. They went back to Mexico City to start the whole surrogacy process. Cause remember, they've both decided now that they're going to have a baby. That shocked me. I never thought in a million years that Kenny would agree to start all over with a brand new baby at the age of 60, and it's not even so much his age. I know he's got the energy to raise a child. It's not even that. I don't think that he's too physically old or mentally old to have a baby. Not that at all. But Kenny, to me, came across as someone who I thought he was at that point in his life where he just wanted to enjoy his husband and, just kind of chill and relax and, sip mimosas on the beach and travel around the world. I thought he was at that point of his life. That's why I was really surprised when he agreed to have this baby with Armando. So, whatever. So they go to the surrogacy clinic and they have to pick a donor. And so they have to go through hundreds of pictures and pick their top 5. Out of the top 5 women that they pick as potential donors, the clinic is going to choose who's the best candidate, right? Because they have to look at their medical records and the quality of their eggs and all this other stuff. So they're going to pick who's the best candidate. So as we're going through all the pictures, Kenny is really quick to be like, okay, next, because he knows exactly what he's looking for. And even though Armando said that, he was trying to be polite, he didn't want to, make it look like any of the women were not up to par or not attractive enough or whatever. At the end of the day, he was agreeing with Kenny with who he was passing by and who he chose, because Kenny and Armando, evidently, they kind of have similar taste in women. So that's where we ended up with them. And that's where we ended up with this episode. Very much filler episode, except for Mary and Brandon. Their stuff is moving forward with them, with the mother coming in. So I can't wait to see how Mary gets along with her mother-in-law for the time that she's there in the Philippines. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.